Hello and welcome to the Meaning Project podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel A. Franz. And as always, thank you for this opportunity to bring a little bit of mental health and meaning to your day. For those of you watching on the Meaning Project or Viktor Frankl Meaning Academy YouTube channels, as you can see, it is with much regret I have to report my good friend and podcasting partner, Dr. Rabbi B, is not with me today. We had actually scheduled to record today. And sadly, I got an early morning text that he is under the weather, not feeling well, could not record today. But I do hear he is recovering well. He has found a cardigan to wear and is sipping tea while he awaits a winter storm in the Denver area. So, best wishes for a speedy recovery, my friend. As I'm recording this, I'm hope that all of you in the States had a wonderful and blessed and family and friend and food focused Thanksgiving holiday. And those of you outside the state listening, outside the States, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I am recording this on what we here know as Black Friday, and the episode will be released on Cyber Monday. And if you are listening to this on the release date, you have exactly 1 month until Christmas Day. And that's right. If it's 1 month till Christmas Eve, and if my math serves me right, that's 5 weeks away from the beginning of your New Year's resolutions. Ominous, isn't it? But we'll leave that for another podcast where we talk about smart goals and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. I made the mistake of turning the news on today. I have to admit, early this morning, sipping my coffee, I was reading. I should have been reading, but I had this very embarrassing tendency towards voyeurism, and I thought, my goodness, let's see what the local news has to say about the Black Friday chaos. And then I thought, you shouldn't be doing this. No, stop. Take your hands off the remote control. And I did it. I turned the local news on, and of course was extremely let down, as the news is known to do, because I was introduced to these ideas. No, thankfully I did not watch any Walmart carnage, any Best Buy mobs. Didn't get to see that this year, thankfully. Maybe they didn't happen. I am hopeful. But what I did see was interesting. It was the introduction of yet another new term. As you know, here in the US, we once lived in a culture where we would take this Thursday off in November. It was a hallowed day where we would gather with friends and family and feast and then watch football, fall asleep in a turkey coma, hopefully help our mother-in-law or whoever did the cooking clean up and enjoy some family time together. And then, of course, the idea of Black Friday was introduced. Fascinating. Black Friday has a rich history going all the way back to 1869. The first Black Friday was actually in September of 1869. Something about two individuals trying to corner the gold market. I don't know. You can study that. I wouldn't recommend trying to study Black Friday anytime soon because you'll just be inundated with advertisements. But if you are interested prior to Thanksgiving next year, you might want to take a look. So Black Friday, of course, then transitioned into, I'm not sure which came first. You can tell me. Was it Cyber Monday or Small Business Saturday, right? So we went from Thursday, we added this holiday of carnage and consumerism on Friday. And then with Amazon owning the world pretty much just a few years ago, they developed Cyber Monday, and everybody, of course, anybody in the market to sell something, jumped on board. And I don't get me wrong, I do appreciate Small Business Saturday. But then again, I try to support small businesses every time I am in a consumeristic mood. So the idea of doing it on Saturday after Thanksgiving is not a bad idea. But the new term I learned today in the yet another 4 minutes of disappointing news coverage that I endured was Travel Tuesday. That's right. We've gone from we almost have a full week of Thanksgiving and gratitude turned into consumerism and buying things. Travel Tuesdays when you're supposed to get deals on holiday travels, flights, cruises, Uber. I don't know what it was. I watched for a little bit and then just had enough. It's interesting if you watch news coverage, local, national, or those morning news programs, I feel they can almost instill ADHD with the bright colors and quick movement of things. So, um, I don't know. Do I have a turkey hangover, or am I just becoming a curmudgeon? I am so sorry, but it does feel maybe just the meaninglessness of some of these days has really finally gotten to me. Um, I do have to admit, it seems, and maybe this is what I noticed today, it seems that in recent years we don't experience the Black Friday carnage that we once did, or maybe it's just because I'm not watching the news. Um, maybe we've turned into a less consumeristic society. Maybe more people are listening to this annual Cyber Monday. God, I can't even use the word Monday after Thanksgiving podcast. It seems to me, I'd have to go back and check, but just about every year for the past 10 or 15 years, ever since I started writing a blog in the early days of my private practice, this time of year, I would usually write or record something about my psychological or logotherapeutical, or more pertinent would be my meaningful holiday gift giving guide. And I'll be honest, in the early years, when I learned about Amazon links and affiliate links, I would pepper a blog full of like, these are helpful ideas for people in your life that you can get gifts for. And they were Amazon affiliate links. I think each time somebody clicked on one, I got a ripe golden fresh penny, maybe even a nickel. But now, I share this same message over and over. And I think this is the message of meaning. This is the message of our times. And I try to keep this podcast original all throughout the year, but I feel like this is a really important one every year. And it's these simple words. When you are considering holiday gift giving for your friends, your family, your loved ones, your spouse, your children, it should be, it could be, I don't want to say should, but your your best, most meaningful venture is this idea: experience over material. Experience over material. It's well researched. And I know sometime I should actually try to quote that research or bring it out to you. I know I read it throughout the year, and you can see it on the internet today. The idea of sharing or giving experiences over material helps us to be happier, healthier, and more meaningful. And I did some, just personal thinking about this. Why might that be? And it occurs to me, gifts at one time were meant to be something special that we didn't get ourselves, or we couldn't get ourselves. They were hard to get. Maybe we couldn't find them. As a child, obviously I didn't have the financial means to go out and buy whatever I wanted. Maybe as it seems sometimes our kids have today. Um, my favorite, it's still, I'll never forget this morning. My brother runs out to the garage, or maybe mom or dad asked him to go get a garbage bag from the garage to wrap up, to put the wrapping paper in a bag or something. And he goes out to get a bag, and he comes screaming back in the house, Dan, it's here. We got it. We got it. And I said, what are you talking about? Now, I was a little bit in on the gig because as a Snoopy young man at that age, snooping, sleuthful, I don't know, nosy. Um, I had an idea my parents had found this and gotten it for us. And it was the most amazing Christmas gift my brother and I together had ever received. And obviously, one I still remember now, probably because I see it on the internet all the time. In the early 1980s, for us, it was the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, the USS Admiral Flag. That's right. I even remember the name of the toy, because it was so important to us, and something we shared in our interest of the GI Joe toys, and something we played with for years. But today, living in a time when we can essentially get whatever we want whenever we want it, usually within a day or less, and many times before we even know we want it. That's right. We talk about our machines listening to us and selling stuff we don't even know we want yet, but that's another story. Um, living that time, gift giving has seemed to have lost its luster, its specialness. There are things that, our children, our partners, our spouses, our friends want, but I'm telling you, it's experience. That's what research tells us. And I think maybe, hopefully, just hearing this, well, if you continue to listen this long, maybe you feel that in your heart too, that it truly is experience that brings us together and makes life more meaningful in a gift giving sense. For kids, especially young kids, um, the ones I work with, the families I work with, not necessarily kids, but it seems to me children today are starved for our time in a busy world where we are working hard to take care of them and to take care of our lives, maybe sometimes too hard, maybe sometimes too focused on bringing in that paycheck, but that's for you to decide. Our children are starved for our time. And so time is an amazing experiential gift. Maybe even if you know their love language, go check out fivelovelanguages.com. Um, you can pick an experience that fits that love language. For many, though, it really is just time going out for a meal, time going for a walk, time doing their favorite thing together. Um, we live in a world where there are many craft places to do crafts, right? If you can't do it at home, there's art and pottery in different places, usually nearby, where you can pay for an experience of making pottery together or designing a picture or building something. Or again, sometimes just a simple meal at their favorite restaurant can really, um, as long as we're present, right? Being present, putting the phone away, and really getting into their world can be an amazing experience and a true gift to them. One of the best I've heard, and I've had the pleasure of doing sometimes, siblings, if you're looking for a sibling gift, sometimes just a meal together. It might not be right around the holidays or right at Christmas, but some kind of get together, getting together at somebody's house and playing games, a pub crawl, dinner together at a nice restaurant can really, serve to bring siblings together that maybe aren't able to get together all the time throughout the year. And especially if it's not under the pressure of a holiday or the holiday, it's really an opportunity to be together and to share those memories of the GI Joe aircraft carrier, the USS Admiral Flag. Um, that's I've got a friend, I believe it's Stephen the Running Man, that suggested this before, that's a great thing to do for siblings. And of course, some of my favorite things to do for my wife, and this is a great thing I think for spouses, planning a weekend away. It doesn't have to be around Christmas. It can be something to look forward to in January or February or later on in the year. A few years ago, my wife was truly blessed with my gift of going to see Dr. Jordan B. Peterson himself. All right, you caught me. Let's face it. That was really a lot about me, but I really wanted to share that with her. And we went for an evening in Chicago and got to see the good doctor himself and paid to meet him and shake his hand and stay a little extra for a personal questions Q&A session. It was awesome. And since I know I think you all know, and most of my wife doesn't necessarily listen to this podcast, but so I'll tell you, I mean, this year she, her gift, we're going to go see one of her favorite comedians sometime early in the year, and then I'm very excited to have plays to I'm sorry, tickets to a play about her favorite movie in the past decade. I think she is absolutely going to love that. And those of you that know my wife, play along. You don't have to tell her, but kind of keep it between you and me. Those are some of the experiences I really love to share with her. Um, why? Why is it experience over material? Well, as we know, material fades in time. The toys we get for our children eventually wind up in a box somewhere. I know my wife just disclosed to me the other day there's actually several boxes of what is called My Loving Family, a toy from the early 2000s that we got our girls that I thought we actually passed on somewhere. Apparently there are hidden boxes throughout our house. Um, and that's because the girls haven't played with them, and apparently she has a hard time letting go. But I think we all know when we get things for our kids, eventually they stop playing with them. But those experiences, right? The initial surprise of learning of the experiences, unwrapping. For me, I'll print something out or make a card and then wrap it up and enjoy watching them open that, and the initial surprise. Oh my goodness, we're going to do what? We're going to go where? But then there's also the anticipation of an upcoming experience, something to look forward to, something to plan, right? So it's not just about the material gift, the Beats headphones that, they get to use and listen to for a while until they need their 7th or 8th pair of Beats headphones because somebody says the technology is better. But they get to plan this event, look forward to this experience. And there's a lot to be said about the healthy psychological and meaningful components of looking forward ahead into an exciting event into the future, right? And then you get to do the event. You get to go to the play or see the comedian or listen to Jordan Peterson or go to the hockey game. And it's fun. And we get to share it together. And it's an opportunity to connect. And it builds memories, right? Ideally pleasant, wonderful, positive, connecting memories that we get to share together for a lifetime. And, of course, when it comes to memories, we know everybody's out there taking pictures of the things they do. And Google or Facebook or whatever app you use will remind you on a regular basis, look what you went to go do with these people and how fun it was. And sometimes that can be quite lovely. So experience over material, all of these things, right? The opportunity for anticipation and planning to experience something. We know there's 3 ways to discover meaning in life: through our creativity, through our experiences, and through our attitudes. That's a whole category of discovering meaning, is our experiences. If we give our loved ones the opportunity to experience something, we are giving them an opportunity to discover meaning. Sometimes that meaning can even be knowledge, like going to see Jordan Peterson, or even a little self-knowledge. So watch it now, folks. Here it comes. I'm not above a little Cyber Monday selling myself. So here it is. Here's the Dr. Dan pitch. You may have seen on social media, I am offering a MBTI personal impact and careers report at a discounted rate. And this is, I think, of course, I think, because I love the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Personal Impact Report gives you a rundown, first of all, your personality preferences, but also how that works in your work environment, your conflict, your communication, your leadership style, and a whole bunch of other facets of your personality. It's nearly a 30-page report all about you and how you operate best, how you can de-stress, avoid stress, or work best in stress. And one of the things I really like to include with that is the MBTI Careers Report. What this does is it takes your personality preferences, compares it to national data on job satisfaction, and shares, hey, here are the things that are most compatible with your personality preferences, and here's the areas that are least compatible. I find that professionally extremely helpful working with adults in transition. If 2024 is going to be the year you begin a new career search or look for different kind of work or maybe education to augment your work, having a report all about you and what careers are best for you is amazingly helpful. Even more so, if you have a high school student looking towards graduation, or a college student or a young adult struggling in the workforce, this careers report and personal impact report can be monumentally helpful. So I am offering a discounted package on that for the entire month of December. So contact me directly and we can get that all set up, or you can take a look at social media. You can find me on Facebook at Dr. Daniel A. Franz, or you can always check out the website too. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention the upcoming January 2024, the Viktor Frankl Meaning Academy's flagship program in its initial offering, Your Search for Meaning. 24 weeks. Every week you will meet with B, myself, Dr. Elise, and we will review a curriculum we designed to take you on a personal journey to discover meaning every week. With that, I am developing a core learning library in logotherapy, all things logotherapy, existential analysis, Dr. Frankl, Elizabeth Lucas, all those associated with Dr. Frankl, Barnes and Fabry, and all these people that I've studied for the past decade. I will share their ideas and theories with you in an evergreen library that you can access even after the 6-month program is up. You'll have lifetime access to that. And of course, also, many of us are craving community, and especially when it comes to our search for meaning. So with our Your Search for Meaning program, we offer a 24-hour community access to us, to each other, conversation, interaction. That'll be on an online platform, similar to a Facebook group, but we are using, I believe it's the Thinkific platform. So it'll be truly unique to you and your experience. So 2 experiences you can purchase for loved ones, friends, family, maybe even for yourself, that give the gift of experience, knowledge, and self-knowledge. That's my Dr. Dan's Myers-Briggs Personal Impact Report and Careers Report, or the Viktor Frankl Meaning Academy's Your Search for Meaning. All right, so hopefully that didn't come off too salesy. Maybe it's something you consider. Maybe you turned the podcast off a little bit ago because you said, Dr. Dan, we have never heard you try to sell anything before, and that's terrible. But I hope you'll consider these things. And if you want to contact me directly, you can find me at danielafranz.com. That's DANIELAFRANZ.com. And you can find out more about Your Search for Meaning at the Viktor Frankl Meaning Academy. That is themeaningacademy.com. And once again, I hope you had a wonderful and blessed family, friends, and food-focused Thanksgiving holiday, or maybe just a weekend if you're not in the States. And this upcoming 4 weeks, 5 weeks of what we call the holiday season, I truly hope it's a meaningful opportunity for you to reflect on what it means to give meaningful gifts, to share with those that you love, and to maybe engage even in some of your own personal introspection about what you want to do in the upcoming new year. As always, it is my extreme pleasure to bring a little bit of mental health and meaning to your day. Take care.